November is Financial Literacy Month, a whole month dedicated to improving Canadians' financial well-being. This year, the theme for Financial Literacy Month is Invest in Your Financial Well-being. And someone who knows a lot about the importance of investing in your financial health is Clinton Wilkins. He is Senior Mortgage Advisor with Centum Home Lenders Limited, joining us via Zoom from Halifax. Hey, Clinton, good morning to you.
Thanks for having me, Elise.
Thanks for being here. Good morning. Dark and early, as we can see in behind you there. So want to dive right in, Clinton. Mortgages, want to ask about those because we know we have that hard evidence now that we have seen a big rise in people getting homes in our region and purchasing homes. Of course, I think most people know that. So as a mortgage advisor, somebody who approves mortgages, are you seeing a lot more applications? I can assume you are, but how dramatic is the increase of people looking for mortgages right now?
Well, I think buying a home is the biggest purchase of your life and mortgage is the biggest debt. And I think it's just so important. I think going into November, where it is Financial Literacy Month, oftentimes people's homes are their biggest asset. And I think making sure that you're protected, but also in the best product when it's in terms of the mortgage debt is really important. You asked how busy it was since we've been in pandemic. You know, we were concerned in March that lenders weren't going to continue lending, realtors weren't going to continue selling homes, lawyers weren't going to continue practicing. But you know what? It's been busier than ever. I think one of those reasons is many bank branches were either closed or had reduced hours. And as you know, an unbiased mortgage professional, we were still able to work. Half of our team was working at home and the other half of the team was still working from the office through that slowdown period. But you know what? We were able to pick up some of that backload. And I can tell you that it's been so busy. I think one of the big reasons that, you know, we're seeing more applications in terms of pre-approvals and obviously more purchases happening every day is people are concerned that there may be a second wave and they don't want to lock down again in the same space that maybe they did lock down the last 6 months. You know, myself, I'm looking for a new home. You know, I would rather maybe have a little bit more space next time that we need to be in that same situation. So
interesting.
We're certainly seeing a lot of applications. And I think, you know, that part of that Canadian dream, we love home ownership. And I think, you know, in Halifax and across Atlantic Canada, it is much more realistic than it is in a lot of different areas around the country. You know, we're seeing a lot of applications from people that are either new to Canada or really relocating here to Halifax and Atlantic Canada from other areas of the country because, you know, home ownership still is so accessible to so many Canadians.
Clinton, I heard you on your morning show on News 95.7 on a Saturday morning. You've got a great show on there. And I heard a question and I thought when I talked to Clinton on Monday, I'm going to ask this again in case you didn't hear his show on Saturday. It was about somebody had called in, a listener, about wanting to sell their home and having the cash to do so, like having that hard cash. They asked the question, should I buy that home with the cash I have or should I go with a mortgage? Why wouldn't you use cash? Why would you? What are the benefits of going with a mortgage in that case?
Well, we're seeing many consumers that either own their home free and clear or are buying new homes doing mortgage applications. And it might not be something that you expect to have because my parents didn't have a mortgage for the last 35 years. I don't know, Elise, about your parent situation. But, you know, I think that everyone wants to be mortgage free, but that savvy consumer is getting a mortgage just because the rates are so low. So if we're talking about, you know, a fixed rate, many consumers are getting a fixed rate below 2% right now. And those savvy consumers are getting a mortgage maybe at 65%, 75, maybe 80% of what their purchase price is and investing the money. You know, right now, if at an interest rate of 2%, majority of investors are getting a return that's much higher than that. And they're able to take, you know, those risks in terms of investing that money because those interest rates are so low. Now, we're talking about a 5-year fixed. You know, some consumers are still wanting to do a longer fixed rate. In Canada, we can do up to a 10-year fixed, and that's still under 3%. You know, I think that's a great solution for many people who are talking about investing. But, you know, again, you need to seek that advice of a financial advisor in terms of investing because who wants to leverage their home into something that's very risky that they may not have that return on investment. Now, when that mortgage comes up for renewal, we may have a different situation. Who knows? We don't have a crystal ball to see where the rates are going to be when they're going to come up for renewal at the end of that term.
Clinton, I just want to move on to one more question because I know we have just under 30 seconds, and this one is really important. I want your one piece of advice because it is Financial Literacy Month and we want to focus on this. It's challenging times for a lot of people with COVID-19. What is your best advice in 20 seconds or less on how somebody can prepare right now for getting a home? What's the #1 tip to set them up financially for a mortgage?
I think get a pre-approval, know where your credit is, your assets, and your income, and seek the advice of an unbiased mortgage professional. It's more important now than it ever has been.
All right, Clinton Wilkins, Senior Mortgage Advisor with Centum Home Lenders Limited. Thanks for getting up so early, Clinton. Appreciate this.
Thanks for having me, Elise.